Hey y'all. So Passion has been busting me to do this for a little while. Most of y'all know me. If you don't, my name is Chris Efflandt. I'm a little talkative. You know, Eddie tells me I talk too much sometimes. But at church, I've been pretty quiet. I've been here about 2 years, a little more than 2 years now, actually, because we know the day. Yeah, if time flies when you're having fun, right? So, where to start? I guess we'll go back to the beginning. July 24th, 1982, like you said, 36 years ago, I was born. No. Going back, I was raised a single mom, oldest of four, very, very independent. It was the type of thing where, you know, all the kids would have Nike sneakers, whatever, you go home, and mom would say, well, yeah, if you want that, that's great. You know, go get a job and make your money and buy your sneakers or whatever. And even then, I would do that and save up my money, and then it'd be like, oh, sorry, son, you know, I need help with the water bill this month or whatever. And I was 13, 14 years old, you know, help pay the bills. So it taught me very, very valuable lessons, but it also taught me to be very independent and kind of do this. Like, I can handle it and I can do this and I've got this. As time wore on, I got older and joined the military and ended up deploying 7 times. Towards the end, I got hurt really bad, busted up my back. And so that led to going to the VA and having some surgeries and different things, and ultimately led to, here you go, pill dependency, pain pill dependency, right? So that's the first time I ever really said it out loud. So there's that, in any setting outside of a 12-step meeting. So I know it is. That's right. So that's tough, man. That's tough when they tell you to go to the VA, and I'm saying, hey, look, what are my surgery options? Well, you know, you really don't have any more surgeries in you. I'm like, 28. You know what I mean? What do you mean I don't have surgeries in me? Nah, we just give you these. And then, you know, after 6 months or a year, it's like, hey, these aren't working anymore. What are my other options? Can I do some physical therapy or something? Nope. We'll just make them stronger. So you double down on the strength and double down on strength. And before you know it, they can't double down on strength anymore. So now what do? Well, I'm running out 2 weeks in, and I'm getting sick and different things like that. And I'm buying them on the street and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And at this point, I'm already, you know, married and I have a kid and making $100,000 a year, working for the government as a civilian and trying to be functioning and keeping everything going, because I can handle it, right? Because I can do it, because I'm independent. I don't need anybody's help. My mom's a minister, and you know, my mom, she kind of knew something was going on, but she's in Rhode Island, right? I'm in Georgia, so we call, hey, everything's great, kids are great, everything's fine. And she knew better. And so ultimately, you know, spending some money doing some silly things, and I'll tell you, I make people laugh. I'm a pretty smart guy, but it's not real smart when you take a government laptop or iPad to a pawn shop for money to buy drugs, because they catch you pretty quick, Nate. They catch you pretty quick. So, you know, at that time, I just thought, what am I going to do? That's my whole career. I had worked there 10 years, and that's not including the additional 6 years for the military service. So I had 16 years vested into a career that I just thought, you know, my whole world's falling apart. Now, you know, my wife's kicking me out of the house, and you know, everybody knows my secret, everything's out there, and I'm in pain on top of that because I still haven't fixed that part of it, right? You know, so it was a pretty messed up situation. My mom came down and they did like a little intervention on me and stuff, and so I said, yeah, I'll go. I don't want to fight anymore. I need help. I can't do it myself. And so I did that, and that was 2 years ago, as of July 15th. 2016. So we just hit 2 years clean and sober, and that is an amazing thing in and of itself, and I could really stop there. So yeah, absolutely, I'll take that. So to God be the glory on that one. But man, and then a year in, you know, I had a really funky sickness. I'm sure you remember, and I know you remember. We were praying, and I ended up in the hospital for 10 days, and thank God we were praying and thinking that day, right? Because we had the water. What do we call that? I don't remember what that day was called, but what is splash? It was a kid's splash party, right? So we had the big water slides set up out back and stuff. And I just thought I had some kind of little ingrown hair or whatever. And I was like, oh, you know, we prayed, and I think I feel all right. And you busted my chops. You're not going to go down? I said, man, I don't know. An open wound, I don't think it's a good idea for the water. Thank God, right? Because it was MRSA virus. And so it turned out to be really bad. And I was in the hospital for 10 days. It's bad when you go to a VA hospital, and within 5 minutes of being there, they check your temperature and see what's going on. They go, hey, let's take you right here. Yep, we're going to check you in. Yep, you're going straight to surgery. And I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be waiting for 4 hours before anybody sees me. So it was pretty quick. Yeah, it was pretty quick. And during all this time, some stuff, I started getting very independent. I was a little cocky. I had been a year into my sobriety. So I said, I know what I'm doing. I've got this, making financial moves without talking to my wife and doing some things. And that's on me, not consulting her, not consulting the Lord, and doing some things that were on me. So everything literally came to a head at once, where I'm having this emergency surgery. She kicked me out again. And, I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm in the hospital for 10 days, and they tell me I'm going to be there for 7 days, and then it's 10 days, and it's going to be 3 weeks. But then they come back and say, no, you got to go today. And I'm sitting in the hospital going, I have nowhere to go. So I'm getting out of the hospital, by the way, not healed up. Like, I have a drain coming out of my body and needs to be tended to. I can't reach it. Like, talk about a lesson in not being independent, because I can't reach it by myself at all, but I have nobody to change it. So, what am I going to do? And I reached out, and I talked to Pastor Chris and Pastor Susie, and saying Grayson. So that was hilarious, because then Grayson just comes bouncing into my hospital room, and he's all happy and smiling, and I'm just like, my life's over, because I'm too young in my faith to claim what I should be claiming, what I should be covered. Things like you just said, like you just shared, things that should be covering me, and those should be the battles that we come through. So he just kept laughing. And at first, I got to tell you, like my flesh was like, I want to punch this dude in the mouth, man. Like, my life is ruined right now, and he's just laughing at me. He's like, I'm telling you, Chris, this is hilarious. You're going to look back and you're going to laugh. And I'm like, Grayson, I just had this surgery. I wish he was here right now. I just had this surgery, and I have no place to go. They're kicking me out. And I'm talking about, it was in hours. It wasn't the next day. It wasn't tomorrow. It was in hours. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, I'm promising you, I'm just telling you, the Lord's telling me it's going to be fine. And he's just laughing. And I will say, after about 10 minutes of that, I'm like, why fight it? So I start laughing too. I'm just, whatever, man. This is either I'm going to go insane and they're going to let me stay here, or whatever, And so we prayed on it. And Pastor Kristen gave me a couple of numbers, and we called them. And as funny as that is, within 48 hours, right, from Tuesday to Thursday, within 48 hours, I not only had housing and a place to stay, but the program was covered and paid for 9 months. Completely, until I could take it over eventually. So it wasn't a thing where, again, the pride was like, I can't have somebody just paying for me or whatever. And it's like, no, shut up and listen. This is what we do. We help. You're a veteran. You're a disabled veteran. So we're going to help you. Oh, and by the way, you have a child. So we're going to help you, and then you take over the payments. We're not going to pay it for you forever. You have to have some responsibility. We get it, but we're going to get you off the ground. So Grayson was showing me and teaching me how to confess in the hospital room. Was within 48 hours, I had a place to live in Evans, a very nice place with my daughter, and just it was amazing. And I can't even. And then come to find out, months and months later, there's people, members of this church that I'm not going to mention because I don't know if they want me to, but that contribute to that program. So by all rights, they helped pay for me to live from Good News Church. And, we didn't even know it at that time. You come to find that out later. And little things, like my brother was sharing, where, you're just getting checks and stuff. I had we'll leave him anonymous. I know who it was from Good News Church, gave me a $1,000 check, where again, I was like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I wasn't working at the time, but, I had my daughter full time, and her mother's going through some issues and stuff. So it's just been, I know, I don't mean to ramble. It's just been one thing after another, and that's why, we keep talking about, Chris, you gotta give your testimony. I'm like, but it hasn't stopped yet. It keeps getting better. And so, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. And I've learned to not be so independent. And I'm still learning. I had a believer tell me just the other day, hey, you got to show a little more grace. Don't be so mad at people all the time. That's something I'm working on, because, that's part of that thing, right? I'm independent. I can handle this. And hey, how dare you do that to me? Well, yeah, calm down. What did you do to other people for 35 years, right? So, but it keeps getting better, and it keeps getting better every day. And just from the smallest little blessings, took my kids to, all you can eat or at kids night at Denny's last night. Didn't know it was kids night. I had a coupon. So I was like, hey, the three of us can share a meal. We'll eat for $10, And the lady was like, no, it's kids eat free. So we have $45 worth of food for $10. And then the lady gave me half of that for being a veteran. So it's like $5 for all three of us to eat. And they're happy as can be. And I was like, man, we'll see you every Tuesday. You know what I mean? So from the smallest things to the biggest things, I just give God the glory, and it's been an incredible 2 years, so thank y'all.
That was awesome.